welcome to the late game. Very late game. It's just after midnight here. What a cracking first day of games. Bruno, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on the late game.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, actually. It's been, a long time. Kind of like 8 years now?
Yeah.
Something like that.
We've been doing this for some time. I thought that I was going to wear a fancy shirt tonight and upstage you. What was I thinking? Look at this. Why did I even try? I should have just worn a plain matte black suit.
You know, I can give you some of these for you maybe later, just, represent.
I don't think I could carry it off, sir. It's the hair. It's the hair as well. So
I can give you some of that too.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
How about that first day? Did you enjoy it?
Man, it was a long day, but it was so good just from the beginning. You know, we had that fantastic series with IG. Team Spirit.
Yeah, that
opening game was just fantastic. Everyone was terrified about it. I remember seeing people from Undying Fnatic game, and they were going to play the first best of one, and the winner had to play against IG and Team Spirit. And I was like, oh no, IG is coming.
Yeah, it was scary.
IG showed up.
I want to talk about Dota's past.
Okay,
because I've known you since, I think, about 2012, when Dota was just starting out. There was TI2, you were at that, right?
I was at that one, yeah.
So my early impressions of you on the Dota scene were basically this, and you haven't changed a bit.
I know, I'm just ageless, like Dota.
Like Dota. Oh, what a plug. Well done. But I mean, the Dota scene has changed a lot. I mean, TI now, even just the standard of play seems to be incredible to me.
Everything has changed. I mean, you were not there at TI2. I think you were at TI3.
3 was my first,
Yes, and I remember showing up at TI2 and we had a set that kind of looked like this one. It was just... And we showed up, we weren't doing any research or much because there's not much to research from.
Right.
And we just, it was James, Nebula, Gods, and myself. And we just sat there, we went, we just had some fun.
Yeah, you just talked. So you didn't do much prep. You guys, what was your knowledge of the Dota scene back then?
I had the stats. I was cheating because I had my stats website. It was like Dota Academy a million years ago.
Right.
So I had some stuff. I had my little notebook that people photoshopped into pictures of. James was the host, so he was always prepared. Gods and Nebula, they played a lot of games and they casted a lot of Dota, but nothing like what they do right now. I'm looking at, you have Frankie, Sumichu, Shiver, of course, Avo, and these guys come with a lot of preparation. All the analysts, they do so much work. It's fantastic. I admire them. I could not go back.
Couldn't agree more. It's their knowledge as well for me about the scenes outside of the Western scene that I know. It's like they know all these details about the Chinese scene and South American scene. It's great.
Right. And also, I mean, if you think about it, back 8-9 years ago, man, I feel like an old man. But you didn't have all the ways to contact because all the scenes were separated, right? Like Chinese teams played against each other, Southeast Asian teams played against each other. Right now you have these Discord chats with all the managers, with all the players, so it's very easy to talk to someone and get some information, try to understand what they're doing. Back then we were kind of going blind. I mean, if you remember, Casey interviewed Ice, except it was not Ice, it was someone else. That said, it was Ice.
Dear God, yeah. God, Casey's first TI was TI3.
TI3, yeah.
Yeah, so, gosh, it's just crazy. All the people that have come and gone and the teams that have come and gone and the players that have come and gone. You must miss it. Like, I do think about those early days, and I do kind of reminisce, but it feels so flashy and awesome now. I feel like I shouldn't be looking backwards.
I was just talking to someone. I had to retire because, I can upstage myself once a year, but if I had to keep doing that every single event, it was going to get pretty silly, actually.
Right. Okay. Well, talking of nostalgia, shall I bring on our first guest?
Please do.
Okay. Our first guest
Who is
Mr. Ben Merlini-Wu.
Ben Merlini-Wu! Come in.
I think you're going to move over.
I think, let's play musical chairs.
I might be wrong.
But, we'll figure it out. This is live TV.
Okay. Have a sit down, Ben.
What's up, Ben?
There you go.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Do we have a drink for
Long
Ben?
time I don't see you, I guess.
Oh, here comes Dakota. Thank you, Dakota.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, cheers.
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 That was so selfish.
That's all right. Ben, young fella. Like young fella, old fella. What have you been up to?
Well, exited Dota scene a few years ago. Got brought back for the memorable TI8.
Right.
Watching Dota still.
So you still watch it?
Occasionally, when I can. It's a bad time zone for Pacific, but I get in games when I can, and obviously TI10. Can't miss that.
Do you play much?
I try and play about 50 hours a month is what I aim for.
That's a decent amount. But I heard that I heard that Jack made you quit Dota. Is that
He
true?
made me re-question my life decisions.
Can you tell us why?
By the way, Jack, KBBQ, Quincy Cruz.
Indeed.
Yes.
A very happy man today. But so what was it specifically about Jack? I mean, I know Jack. I can definitely think of many reasons why I would want to quit Dota if I was playing with Jack. But you're very good.
I thought of myself as like a more casual player, like I didn't take it too seriously. I wasn't a player or anything, but then, I just got all up in this mood when I was playing with Jack, and I was like, why am I doing this?
But he is infuriating.
He is in a different sort of way. Jack is actually very strange in that he actually never curses when he flames you.
Really?
He actually has some
yes.
real deep, incisive insults whenever he says something.
He turns into a thesaurus when he's insulting people. Yeah, it's incredible.
So
I
something
heard
like
the same
that
things
probably
about Quinn, so maybe they
Oh, yeah.
practice with each other, right?
yeah. Who came first with the insults?
So I was just looking back over your history a little bit, and I know that you played Dota. You left your job. You graduated in 2009. You left your job to play Dota 1. Mm-hmm. You quit Dota 1.
Yes.
What did you do? And then you came back to. Then you played Dota 2. Mm-hmm. And then you quit Dota 2. And then you became a panelist, and you've quit that. But are you ever going to come back?
I don't think so.
No.
We're old. We're old men. You know it.
It's true. So you've settled down now. The Dota scene is not for you. So how is it going back there? What are you up to?
Well, outside of normal life, I think for the video game aspect, Dota's actually ruined other games for me in a good way. In that, man, I was like, this game just can't stack up to Dota. It's just the replay value, the intensity, the amount of fun that you have. Nothing really rivals that. So it's actually easy to not play other games as a result of Dota.
So you don't play many games other than Dota now?
I do, but it's only a dabble.
Okay, because I remember one time we were playing, I think it was at another event in Bucharest, actually. It might have been TI4 or something like the hub maybe. And you were playing 3 games at once.
Yeah,
Dota was one of them. You played 2 other games. But it was crazy. We're laning and you're finishing off another game.
That happens.
But how do you just quit doing that?
When you're so good, you can do that. You can...
That's true. But then how does he give it up? That's the thing. You'd have to be crazy to give up Dota.
There's other things in life.
Oh, really?
Not many.
Oh, really?
Not many,
Yeah.
But...
Like the custom games in Dota, for example.
Like the custom games.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Did you watch the Secret OG series?
I actually took a nap during the second game because the first game was a little bit too lopsided for me.
Okay.
I'm still a little bit jet lagged, so...
Okay. Oh, when did you get in?
A couple days ago.
Huh. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So
but I watched most of the games. I watched the Quincy comeback. I watched the Team Spirit, magical Game 1 win. Watched the last few games, too.
Okay. Bruno, do you have any questions for Ben?
Yeah, Ben, who's your favorite neighbor?
Favorite neighbor?
Yeah, favorite neighbor.
This is a loaded question. Next, please. He lives fairly close to me.
We see each other.
Neighbor.
Yeah.
It's close.
He's my ride. Whenever I need to go somewhere, I don't drive. So I'm like, Ben, can you drive me somewhere?
Wow.
Ben is also
truth
married.
comes
right?
out.
You
I'm
got
not married.
You're
No.
not married?
I'm engaged.
You're engaged?
I've been engaged for 4 years.
Oh, my sources tell me that you were married. But
You know,
you've
he
been
told me
engaged for
that, and I
4
was
years.
like, holy cow, I forgot I didn't go to his wedding. I felt really bad, so I was quiet.
Man, I could have played along with that really well.
You could.
How dare you, neighbor?
Dare you, sir.
See you in 10 years, people.
Oh, man. Okay, well, talking of OG Secret, I was thinking that we could bring someone else out here to reminisce with. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
The more
Who do we
the
have? Who do we have? Tell me.
Another old face from the Dota Wayback Machine.
Is it Ice Frog?
Well, let's bring him out here and we'll find out. Do we have Cyborg Matt around?
It's kidding. Just Demo. Please
They're
hold.
grabbing him. Excellent. Thank you, Dakota. Matt, I'm going to budge up. You come and sit here and grab those headphones.
The real Ice Frog.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Crazy day. I think in terms of like TI openings day 1, this was definitely up there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Talk
I
us
mean-
through the series, because you're watching it.
Well, I think coming into this series, we had a lot of confidence.
Right.
We were prepared for this match quite a bit. OG, very well-known opponent. So we were just basically, it's about delivering on the day.
Right.
And I think we did that in all.
Oh, I'll say. I mean, I was watching that series like it was crazy how that game too. I just couldn't believe it. Like everybody was kind of like in disbelief, I think.
Yeah, no.
But you were saying that to me earlier that this is a culmination of quite a lot of work.
Yeah. I can go into some detail, but I don't want to share too much, of course. Still in the tournament and stuff. But I think we've done this quite a few times now. So it's about finding the right way to do it. There's no perfect way. I think we might have it this time, and we're really confident.
Okay.
Matt, as someone that has to interact with you a lot during these tournaments, you guys have been really, centered and confident and calm and, really good at preparing throughout this tournament. Is that a thing that, happened throughout the year and preparation, or is there something that clicked at TI10?
It's definitely recent. I think, when you look at the rest of the season, primary goal is qualify for TI. And then, I don't want to say, like, you take a back seat, but you slow down a bit. And I think coming into TI as favorites is not good. We've done that many times in the past. Lots of teams have done that in the past.
That was something Puppy said, actually, wasn't it? He said that we didn't want to come in as favorites and everything like that.
I think just giving the team time to spend with their families and be home and just relax and come into the TI with the right approach where it doesn't feel like too much work for them, and making sure that there's a nice smooth boot camp. And I think that's it. I think that's super key. Every team has a different approach to it.
Yeah.
But we're happy where we are right now.
So, Ben, I just want to come back to something with you quickly. Back when you were playing, if you compare the Dota scene now, the way the pro players treat playing Dota and their mental health, and they've got these life coaches and everything like that, you guys had none of that back in the day, right?
Well, there was no money back in the day, so you could only do it because you loved Dota. There was nothing else, so it wasn't as much pressure, I guess. It's like if you didn't like Dota, you just wouldn't play, and there wasn't a good reason to stay in otherwise. And now it's a little bit different, but I still feel like all these players love Dota. If you don't love Dota, you're not going to be at TI. You're not doing it for the money.
Of course.
But, yeah.
But so what kind of preparation did you guys do back in the day?
We just play a lot together. And I think one of the hardest parts was actually getting the people together. Now you have LANs all the time. Before, it was just a name and EU smiley faces was what I knew people by. And you never really met them. I think TI3 was one of my fonder memories because that was one of the times I met all these people in person.
Right.
You've been playing Dota with them for many years. You spent hundreds of hours with these people, and you never ever see them until TI.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Matt, so back in the day, I actually looked something up about you, 2013, talking to TI3.
Yeah.
And you gave an interview there. I'll talk about what you did first in 2013. And before that, my first appreciation of Cyborg Matt was digging into the patches.
Oh, yeah.
And posting all the stuff about, here's the model for Hero X and all that kind of stuff and all those nets. How the hell did you do that?
I mean, my background at that time was forensics, so I was used to using a lot of tools like that.
You mean computing?
Yeah, computing forensics.
Good clarification, by the way.
Yeah. Dustin from
just a little clarification.
If Yapsor disappears one day,
we'll get Matt on the case. Yeah. That's actually what my wife does for a living now.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So all those tools for picking apart
using
data.
really, really expensive tools for not their main purpose. Back then, obviously, because when you looked at the development of Dota 2, it was basically playing catch up. Let's reach parity with Dota 1.
Right.
So a lot of people on the team, a lot of heroes coming out, a lot of stuff in the files that maybe they wanted there, they didn't want there, or maybe they wanted them there so they can get a little bit of feedback from.
Right.
So it's like at that time it was the sweet spot for what I was doing because there was just so much content. And I built like a website around it, a stream around it. I remember,
yeah.
And it led to working with CBS Interactive and various different jobs and stuff. And I think it was just a really good fit for what my skill set already was, and then put on the passion of the game on top. And it's like, it was just great, honestly.
So Ben, as a player at that time, did you guys look at the patch and think, "Oh man, don't bring that hero out"? Like, because you played a lot of Dota 1. You're very famous in Dota 1 for like inventing stacking camps and figuring out laning with Zeus in these crazy ways. So when you were looking at the patch, you were thinking, "Man, this is the game I'm going to be playing professionally. They're going to change the heck out of it. Like, I've got to figure this out quickly."
I think we viewed it the other way, where it was Dota 2, and we didn't know when things would come, and we didn't expect them to come at a certain time. So you just focused on what you had and try to play around that. Like the first TI, how many heroes were available then?
50 roughly.
Yeah.
I mean, 50 something.
So that was your Dota at that point, and you didn't really think about anything else. And if something else was in, that was nice. I'm actually a Techies fan, so I was waiting for Techies to be ported in.
That's
so.
a long wait. Was that TI4?
It was a long time.
Yeah. That's when you
Yeah.
Yeah, so 4 years with no techies. Those
That
were
was-
the golden days. Those are the golden days. Oh, man. So there was actually an interview that you gave in 2013 around then. And the question was asked, who was your favorite Western team?
Yeah.
What do you think your answer was?
I'm going to assume it was Navi.
It was Na'Vi.
Yeah.
But who do you think you said your favorite player was?
I mean, I'm hoping the answer to that is. Wait, this is a trick question, maybe, right? Or,
Not necessarily.
All right. Well, if it was on Navi, then I'm assuming it was Puppy, hopefully. Or is it
Puppy
not?
was your favorite
Okay,
player.
good.
Well done. You're second.
Yes, I'm safe. Jeez.
I thought it was funny that you sort of started off just being
Yeah,
a
'cause I was,
fanboy in 2013, and now you're working for Seek.
Yeah, I mean, me and Clement go back so many years now. Obviously, he had bigger ambitions, besides what he was doing in Navi, and I was, a good friend to him at the time, and it was the right time, and that was it. That was history. Like,
Yeah.
wow, I made the joke that this is we're all a bunch of Dota boomers here, but we really are.
Obviously, we built this panel specifically
Yeah.
for the old lads, but
Yeah.
oddly enough, I feel like even though I'm the oldest, out of all four of us, I'm the newest to Dota by like quite a few years. Because obviously, you played Dota 1, I assume.
Yeah.
You played Dota 1. Did you play Dota 1? I didn't.
Get outta here.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm
What a
like this stupid noob.
How many hours do you have? Like only 10,000?
It's persistent. I know, 10k hours. But that's playing. That's always annoys me, Ben. Right? Do you just AFK on the
No,
menu?
I'm not one of those guys. I can't do that. But I do know a lot of people that will. I won't name names.
I was going to
Hi,
name
Mike.
names, but I won't. There are a lot of people that every day I log in, and it's like 9 in the morning for me, and I'm like, they're not playing. They've been on idle all night, just racking up those hours. That's all they're
Shame.
thinking about. We're not going to name and shame here, but we could. So, I remember also you did an interview in 2014 at the International with Ken. Ken interviewed you, Hotbid.
Yeah.
And at that point, you were doing interviews for various things to do with esports and stuff. Mm-hmm. So you were looking for something to do in esports for a while.
I mean, I think, at that time I was still like deep in forensic stuff and that lot, and I had various offers from places in esports and stuff, and I think Team Secret was an exciting project. It was like, it's one of those moments where like you basically like, if I don't do this, I'm probably going to regret it for the rest of my life.
Right.
So I went in and told my boss, I'm gone.
Wow.
And he's like, no, you're not. He didn't believe me. He didn't. I told him what I was going to do, and he's like, I don't know what that is, but it sounds crazy. And and then I didn't go back. So
Well done.
if you're watching, hi.
So Ben, you obviously made a decision at some point to leave behind a job and move into Dota. But how big a gamble was that for you to jump into like playing professionally, or did you think this is all going to work out and it'll be fine?
I didn't YOLO it quite as much as other people. I actually did it at night after I worked. So I worked for 12 hours, and then I came back, and then I streamed, and then I got very little sleep and went back to work. And then after a couple months, I was like, this will work out.
And then when you decided to make the move from being a player to being an analyst, how did that, like, who approached you? Did you just say, I don't want to play?
That was happenstance. That was on the panel with him.
Yeah, that was TI3.
Yeah, Parker had visa issues, and I was there. I was supposed to be a spectator, and then they're like, we need a person. Will you do it? I was like, sure, why not? So that was more luck. I had been casting here and there before that, but that particular stint, my first stint, was more luck.
He didn't show. He just showed up, and he was like more knowledgeable than anyone on the panel. He knew what he was talking. He had played with most of the people there because Melk was still there. Like a couple of the people that you have played with were still there. It's just natural, this guy.
Yeah.
So good. He was like, I won. I've done anything I wanted to do in Dota as a caster. I'm out.
Crazy. All right. Well, here is something I've got for Matt and Bruno.
Oh, Lord.
I think we have it ready, Ken, which is, let's see if we can look at this video very quickly. Look at this.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Wow.
Look at that.
So, I don't know if you guys can hear that.
I remember the basement. I can't hear
We're going
that.
to talk about the TI3 qualifiers. We're going to talk about Matt's new courier. And we're going to talk about patch 6.78, which I'm sure you've all been extremely excited about. It's blown my mind.
6.78, patch 6.78, Shagbark,
Yep.
the courier. And do you guys remember doing that? Because I did not remember doing that, and it's on my YouTube channel.
I was going to say, where is that footage even from? Because, like, Jesus, that's...
That was, I guess I just we did a Skype call with the three of us, and I think it's an hour and a half long.
So it's funny. That makes sense because like right now, content creators, I mean, obviously the internet has changed so much in the past 5 years, 8 years. And now content creators are very deliberate about that. But back then we were just kind of like, someone would call me and be like, hey, do you want to do this thing? Like, sure, just jump in. Kind of like what I just did right now.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was like that.
No, it really was. I remember, I would just jump like, oh, new patch came out. Like AUI would call me like, hey, do you want to do a patch now? And it's like, cool. I would stream on the Good Studio channel.
Right.
And like suddenly have 20,000 people watching a patch review.
I mean, people do still love a patch review. I think,
but it was
because it's so confusing. Even when you play the game, you're like, "How is this good or bad? How is this changing?" You need someone like to explain it to you if you're a scrub like me.
Yeah, the thing is, like, we streamed like once every 6 months at that point. It just showed up. And it's like, people would tag in. It was very a very organic thing.
Yeah.
It was.
But I felt like, I mean, back then, I know when I started making videos, I think the first person to contact me was LD.
Yes.
And then it was you.
Yes.
And I was like,
this is a good old Dota
who
commentaries.
are these guys? Because I had no knowledge about Dota. And when I was...
Because you did the guide to Skeleton King.
Yeah.
Right. And my friends that I played with were like, you know Bruno? And I was like, yeah, who is he? I didn't know. He's a legend. And then, and when I started to meet people, they were super excited to hear about all the people I met. And I mean, now I flip and love you guys. It's great, all the friends.
We ended up living in the same house for like 2 months.
We did. Yeah, there's just some crazy times. Driving in rush hour traffic to go and cast Dota. You guys had the biggest pile of laundry that was undone I've ever seen in my life.
I don't think James ever washed his clothes.
I'm not kidding.
He just buys new ones, right?
He just buys new. Yeah.
It was a
actually
pile
kinda
like
smart.
this big, and Scriff and Wepass were living there as well.
Inside that.
in the pile road. And we would have to fish them out. But yeah, so it was like back then, I think Wepass and Scriff did mostly driving. They were like James's driver.
Well, I mean, yes, and I
I'm
mean,
his driver now. I'm here.
I noticed
Now the tables
pattern
have
here.
turned.
It was funny.
It's great. And those two guys, they invented the observer position.
Exactly,
That's
the whole
also
role,
a pretty
yeah.
cool thing. They're here with JJ as well. Like those three guys have grinded more than any caster, pretty much, because they're always around. So
I was literally talking to Wepass and Scriff about this. We were playing a board game the other night.
and how everyone. By the way, I'm going to stop you. Everyone talks about Weapons and Scriff. They're not a single person. They're two different. I swear. There's two different people that every anecdote has both of them, and no one's entirely sure which one's which.
I have figured it out, because whichever one you call the wrong name gets angry.
That's good.
I have a mnemonic. Scriff is not the scruffy one. The scruffy one is Weapons. Scriff, not scruffy.
Sounds more
I
consistent.
don't think he's going to appreciate that. I hope
It's
he's not
interesting, though, as you
watching.
said, though, like, they actually did kind of pave way for, like, observers and such, like, and now, like, these days when you're watching a big tournament, you actually, they get a proper, like, mention on the, on either on the cast or on the overlay or on the UI. Like, I think that kind of stuff, because there's so many people, I think people don't realize, like, how many people are actually working in an event. Like, there's so many people who work so hard, and they don't get the appreciation. And obviously, just thank you to everyone at this event. Like, I understand, like, to run an event is one thing. To run an event during COVID is insane. Like, and I think we're still during the event, and I'm sure more teams will come forward and say thank you. But this has really been a really safe environment for us, and I feel like all of us really appreciate the work you guys put in to make this happen. And I'm just sad that obviously the spectators can't be here, but I know that we have a lot of fans at home, and let's hope for COVID to clear up, and next year,
Hopefully things get better. Yeah. Because
fingers crossed, guys. Like,
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I think there's a lot of people that want to watch Dota live.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the crowd noises, by the way? I've warmed to it so much that now I'm like shouting out the crowd guy when he nails a big cheer and a team floats up. Like, I love this lad. I heard about him. He's got like a huge keyboard, like a big instrument. He's like hammering. bit of a cheer here, and then he brings it down.
So here's the question, right? Because surprisingly, I did not know about this until I was just so busy with other stuff. But now I have a question.
Okay.
Teams doing Roshan. Do you press the cheer button or not?
No.
No, let's not do that.
Just in case.
No. I'm with Ted.
But
You
normal
should.
crowd would cheer, right?
Yeah, normally they would.
It's interesting. I just thought about that. It's
Yeah.
like smoke. Do you cheer?
I think if it's a crowd doing it, you can't blame one person. If it's one guy,
I will find that guy. He has a big keyboard, right? You said?
has a
Yeah.
massive
Okay. Whoever has the biggest keyboard, you're going down.
I don't know what he looks like other than the keyboard.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah. You might just attack some random
It's a ra-
busker with a keyboard.
Some random guys there behind it. I'm sorry, man, but don't cheer. They're in Russia.
Yeah, honestly, the changes in Dota are nuts. Some of them obviously have happened just because of time. Some of them have happened because of the situation they're in. But it has been wonderful. I would like to say one thing that I think has gone unsaid so far, which is that all three of you have been accused of being Ice Frog at different stages over the last decade or so. I know Bruno definitely has. I know Ben has been accused occasionally because he can't know that much about Dota unless he's Ice Frog. Matt, of course, when he was kind of anonymous, got accused. So I'm actually going to make a phone call here. Do you guys have your phones on you?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, awesome. Well, I have, because Gabe gave me a number. Hold on a sec.
Wait, how do you know we didn't switch phones before we came here?
Well, we'll find out. I actually have his Ice Frog's number. I'm just going to give it a call, and we'll see if I can get through to one of you, and then we'll know for sure. So I'm going to
Maybe
call
Ted's
right
Ice
now.
Frog. He's just playing us.
Yep. Hi, Ice Frog. It's Pyrian. I know you said never to call you, but I was kind of expecting one of these phones to ring in front of me. Have you got a minute? I was going to say I think you should nerf Tinker, and I think you should remove techies from the game completely. Hello. That's every time. Every time.
Was a good effort, though.
Yeah.
Okay, well that solves it once and for all. I hope you guys can rest easy now without being accused of being
Oh, thank you.
Ice Frog.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good job none of us work at Valve.
I had a bit of an identity problem, actually, because people used to go, not much anymore, but people used to Google Ice Frog, my face would show up first. it was actually really a problem. It's like, just going to meet someone, and it's like, oh, cool, you work on Dota, yeah, cool. Oh, it's just the game with Ice Frog. You Ice Frog? No, I'm not. But Google says you are.
I mean, Google has your data. I mean, that's all I'm going to say.
At least it's not Facebook.
Awesome. So, Ben, what is up next for you in life, apart from obviously getting married because you're engaged? What else have you got on the horizon?
I don't know. I don't actually think that far ahead nowadays.
At all?
Not too much.
Any plan? Anything you'd like to do?
Well, I would like to travel more once COVID ends, but that's an ongoing thing.
What kind of places?
Outside the country. I was supposed to go to Europe twice for 2 weddings last year.
Did the weddings get cancelled?
Yes. They got moved.
Whereabouts in Europe?
One in UK and one in France.
Nice.
And then, I just want to travel more, work on myself, work on career, relationship, the normal old boomer stuff.
And how is just a regular job going? Are you enjoying it? You fit it back into it? I mean, 'cause you
Yeah.
did it before, right? So
Yeah, I think it's hard to people always say the grass is greener. It's like, oh yeah, work for yourself. You got to set your own hours, do what you want, or working for someone else. You have benefits and have a schedule,
Right.
time off, stability,
and colleagues as well. Isn't it nice sometimes to have colleagues? I work
These
by
are
myself a
colleagues
lot.
too.
I know,
Hello.
but you only see them at events a lot of the time, right? It's not like
Or when
going
I
into
need
the
a drive.
office.
Yes.
Or when you need a driver from a friendly neighbor. Yeah.
I definitely like the people more in Dota, I would say. Everyone, it just feels like they belong, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing to say, I suppose, but that's just the feeling I get. Everyone wants to be here and likes what they're doing and likes what they're talking about and likes what they're seeing and very enthusiastic. I can see it every time I hear all these new members on the panel. I'm like, these guys all really, really like Dota. And that is one of the things I miss most about casting.
Because I mean, the conversations you guys always used to have backstage was like so detailed and in depth. Like I just couldn't wrap my head around it.
Well, what's funny? It's like that was kind of if you watched the group stage this year, that was kind of a little bit of the vibe that was trying to capture there. It's just like, hey, you know, like the thing that you do when everyone's live and you're talking there, why don't you do that here? And, you know, it helped that everyone's just like kind of isolated and you forget about the cameras. And we got, as I said, like so many cool people that I feel like there was a little bit of a different touch.
I feel like the panelists now seem all, even just straight out of the box, like their first few events, they're super relaxed. They're super used to being on camera, seemingly, and they're super chill. Do you think that's because, I'm not being funny, I'm back in our daying it a little bit, but we didn't have things like Instagram and people didn't vlog as much back then. Do you think people just being on camera all the time has made them happier to be on camera? Because people used to be pretty camera shy back in the day.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of us hadn't, I mean, TI2 was my first event, the first time I was on camera, but I think a lot of us were just not used to it, yeah. Now everyone can stream, like back then things like Twitch TV, Own 3D, right? It was like these kind of new ventures that people were exploring, people were trying to find out what that was, but besides a few people like Sing Sing comes to mind, that was like 2012 streaming, a lot of us were not just really used to it. And even casters would cast without a webcam. So yeah, it becomes easier once you get used to it. And there's so much talent management around events as well. There's a lot of people taking coaching. I remember Cap took voice lessons.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you watch a Cap cast from like 2015 and now, he's improved so much. And he was really, really good back then. But everyone's very dedicated to their craft. I was too lazy, so that's
I tried to pitch it to the nervous people, just relax and talk about Dota, and it's really what it was to me. It doesn't really have to be that stressful. I mean, he and I were just watching the last game and just sitting on the couch and just talking about Dota. That's kind of just what you need to do, and it's hard to get people in that natural vibe and that flow because everyone can do that off camera. You just need to bring it out on camera.
So just one last question before we wrap up. I'd like to go down the line. I'll start with Matt. What is your favorite TI memory across all of them that you've seen or been to?
All. I think it has to be the play. I was there in person, like right in front of the stage. You know, the Benaroll Hall was such a like you were there. Like it's a different atmosphere.
I was at 3. I was not at 2. Unfortunately, I missed the play.
I mean, but you saw the Benaroll Hall.
Yeah.
And what I mean is when we had the international day, it was like it felt really special because it was like a small group of gatherings of just insane hardcore Dota fans, and you know we still get that now, but obviously everything is so much bigger. The scale, obviously, because there's so many fans that want to be here, so of course it's going to get bigger and bigger. And just that you know closed environment and seeing that like in person,
it felt like the start of something, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. It really put the fire in me to just. It's hard to describe, but it was it was awesome. It was really awesome.
Brilliant. Ben?
For me, this one's an easy one. You think a question mark after you're winning a game is bad? Think about picking Techies and Pudge on the main stage before the game even starts. That is the most brazen move I've ever seen in Dota TI, and I don't think it will be topped. That will forever be imprinted in my memory.
They did lose.
They still picked it.
They lost that game, but yeah, that was everybody's face in the arena just sort of paused for a moment and just dropped. It's like, what is happening? It was incredible. Yeah, I remember that. And Bruno, yours?
I have a twofer.
Okay, you can. I'll allow it.
I'm gonna cheat. One is actually you were in it. TI6, the puppet panel.
The puppet panel
was like one of the funniest bits that I've seen, and you know, everything was improvised. Everything was just like fantastic, really funny. Your puppet was still all your puppet. I think we never gave it to you.
You never did. You actually told me you're going to get the puppet afterwards.
Yes.
In fact, thank you for the platform. I'd like to complain. You told me I was going to get the puppet, and then at the last minute they went, well, we're going to use it for something else. It's been in a box for 4 years. Give me the puppet.
It's in a box
Please.
next to the gravity gun and the portal gun.
It's actually a
Just don't
hostage
touch
now.
those things. They're scary.
It's actually moved offices since then.
Yes, it has.
He's been driving it around. No, actually, you've been driving it around.
Not only did you not get it, but they actually moved its physical location.
Isn't it? They're just using it for the carpool lane.
Yes, exactly. Just, if I need someone to talk to, I want to be reminded of you. And you only show up for TIs and never again. So.
That's not my choice.
No, but let me give you the other one. If
your
you don't
other
mind.
one.
Yeah, so actually a real one. At TI3, I lost my passport. When I was working the event, I lost my passport. I was living in Sweden. I couldn't come back. And I lost it during the event. And people were like, don't worry, focus about the event. So after the event happened, and it's TI3, Alliance won, and they were celebrating. The next day, I go to the Cheesecake Factory, and Alliance is there. And Loda is like, I heard you lost your passport. And they had just won, right, the day before. It's like, do you need money? Do you need anything? Can I help you with anything? And just the guy, and I hadn't talked to him that much, but I remember him and all the team were just like, how can we help you get safe? And I mean, they didn't need the help. We ended up figuring things out, but it was really humbling that someone that just came from winning, the biggest tournament in esports at the time, that just came, just like, I just want to help. And it was, I gained a lot of respect for Loda at that point.
Yeah, kind of lets you know that the Dota scene, in my opinion, is the most chill and pleasant and just good people. That seems to be like the vibe, I think. And if you play Dota out there, you know you're a good person, but you could be a little better to me in my pub, just be a little nicer, but that's it. Guys, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
This was the Old Boys Veteran Club. And again, like I said, I am the oldest, but by far the least experienced. So luckily I had you three to lean on. Thank you, Bruno, for stepping in as my guest host.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. But sadly, you're not going to be back tomorrow. We're going to have someone else. We're going to have a different guest host every week. You are fired, essentially. So yeah,
That was quick.
That was quick. He lasted about 36 minutes. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by the late game. We will be back tomorrow after the main event is finished. Wave, everybody, wave. Goodbye.